What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new, and if you are new, hit that subscribe button, baby. We are a growing family over here and we'd love if you joined us. I am so excited for today's video because I've never done a video like this. We're going to talk about all the places that I have traveled to in 2022 and I'm very excited about it. So welcome back to Vlogmas. Now that we are sort of in the latter half of Vlogmas, a lot of my vlogs are going to be a little bit more geared towards what we did in 2022 and what I hope to do in 2023. I love making these videos. Every single year I make a New Year resolution video or a New Year goal video. I've done it every year for 4 or 5. This could be like the 4th or 5th year because I've been doing, I think this is my 5th year doing Vlogmas, so it might actually be my 5th year doing that too. I'll check. But I love to make my New Year goals video, and this year I thought it would be really cool to throw this one in the mix, my 2022 travels. So I have actually been on 6 trips this year, which is beyond a privilege, beyond what I ever thought I would be able to do. Like, 1 trip a year used to be the most I was gonna do. A lot of times it was 0. So doing 6 is incredible to me, and it's just a lifestyle that I didn't always get to live, and I'm very excited to live now. I've worked really hard to get to a point where I can do something like that, so I'm really warm and fuzzy inside about that. I am also wearing my Wyoming shirt, which is fitting because we're doing a travel video, but ironic because I've never been there. But yeah, let's just get started in talking about all the places I went in 2022. We're gonna go in chronological order, so let's throw it back to February, which is when we went on our first trip this year. From February 24th through the 27th, we actually went on a ski trip, which was so fun. It was our 2nd ski trip of the winter, but we had gone in December of 2021, and then in February we decided to go back. Okay, so back in February we traveled to Thompsonville. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone for some of the details throughout this video, but we traveled to Thompsonville, Michigan, to Crystal Mountain, which is a really cool ski resort that we all went to as a family with Angelo's family. So for this trip, it was myself and Angelo, his mom, and his siblings, and it was so much fun. We rented a cute little cabin and we just skied all weekend long. I remember I did work, I think, maybe just one of the days while we were there. So I worked remotely at my old job, which is so weird to think about. I had a different job at the beginning of 2022, which is so weird, but yeah, so I worked a day while we were there, and the rest of the time we were just skiing our hearts out. This trip was super exciting because this was the first time that I ever did a Blue Diamond Trail. No, Blue Square. LOL, not a Blue Diamond, guys. It was my first time ever doing a Blue Square trail. So all of the times that we had skied before this, I have only done like the green hills because I was a beginner. I didn't learn to ski until I was in high school, and I was only doing like Bunny Hill and then like beginner, just basic green trails in Ohio, which if you know anything about Ohio, it's very flat. We don't have a lot of mountains, so I did not feel very confident when we went to Michigan the first time because it was like a real mountain, I feel like. So the first time we went to Michigan, I stayed on the greens. I just got comfortable again. I was just feeling it out. And then the second time we went back to Michigan this year, I felt like I was kind of getting bored on the green trail, so I was like, all right, I'm ready, we're gonna do some blue. And I feel like I was really good at it on pretty much my first try. I think it's just because I built myself up and I was confident enough to get there, but I was not about to mess around with going on it before I was ready because that is scary. Be careful on the slopes. But yeah, so February we went to Crystal Mountain and it was such a fun trip, really cool winter trip. So after we got back from this trip in February, like I said, it was through the 27th. So through the end of February, we had just a little bit of time of being home before we left again on March 12th. So this part of the year was super packed with 3 trips actually. So from March 12th through 17th, we went to Arizona. This was our ultimate top #1 trip of all time so far, myself and Angelo, my boyfriend. It was our top trip together by far. We had the most amazing time. We stayed in Sun City West, Arizona, but we also did a little bit of a road trip and we traveled to Flagstaff, Arizona. We stayed 1 night there. We visited the Grand Canyon, which is the most iconic experience. And then we also traveled to Sedona. So I'm gonna walk you through this trip because it had a lot of components. We flew into Phoenix, Arizona, which is really exciting. So we got to see a little bit of the city, and then we drove immediately to Sun City West where we were staying, and it was a paradise. Angelo has family in Arizona, so we were lucky enough to be able to stay with them and get to see the area in a whole different way than being a tourist per se. So we stayed in Sun City West for most of our trip. However, we did travel to the Grand Canyon because my parents last year for Christmas gifted us a pink Jeep tour of the Grand Canyon, which was one of the highlights of my life. It was incredible. We rode in a pink Jeep Wrangler and did a whole tour of the Grand Canyon. We got to hike down into the canyon where it was snowing, guys. In March there was snow. Angelo threw a snowball at me in the Grand Canyon. I don't know how many people can actually say that, probably a lot, but you know what, I feel lucky to be one of them. So we had the most incredible night at the Grand Canyon, and then we went back to Flagstaff, Arizona, which is where we ended up staying the night because we did our tour as a sunset tour and it got kind of late, too late to drive back to Sun City West. So then we stayed the night in Flagstaff and had a couple adventures there. We ate at Guy Fieri's restaurant, not his restaurant, sorry, a restaurant that he had on the show, a Mexican place. It was so good. And then we also got coffee in the morning, and then we drove all the way back to Sun City West. However, on the way, this is where things got amazing. On the way from Flagstaff to Sun City West, we went through Sedona. It was not only the most incredible, breathtaking, amazing drive of our lives, like it was so amazing. I can't even put into words. I'm like speechless at how beautiful it was. We stopped in Sedona and decided we'd just do a quick little hike and then we'll head back. And I knew that I've seen Sedona on Instagram a lot, so I just googled like coolest hike in Sedona, and it told me to hike Cathedral Rock, and I was like, oh yeah, that is totally the place I've seen in all the Instagram posts, all the videos. So we decided to do it, and I read the map wrong and did not realize that it was a double black diamond hike. So Angelo and I at this point are not pro hikers by any means, something we totally do as a hobby, and we actually love to do it, but I do not know if we would be considered black diamond level, let alone double black diamond. So we did this hike without even realizing what it was going to be. We were literally rock climbing, hiking. Not only were we doing all of these things that like were physically strenuous, we were also gaining so much elevation. We basically live at sea level here in Ohio, so the elevation change alone was so hard for me, specifically because I was also a little bit out of shape at this point. So all that to say, we did conquer the hike. We made it to the top of Sedona Rock, and it was one of the most incredible feelings of my life. Like I could cry just thinking about how awesome it was. So that was a 10 out of 10 experience in my life. I thought it was amazing. And after that, we drove back to Sun City West where we stayed the night, and then we went home for one day. Yes, you heard me. One day at home between that trip and the next one. So February was Crystal Mountain, March was Sun City West, and then in March we also went to Orange Beach, Alabama. So from March 19th through 25th, we spent the week in Orange Beach, Alabama with my family. So while we were in Arizona, we were with Angelo's dad and Angela's family, and then when we went to Orange Beach, it was with my family. So not only my mom and my stepdad and all my siblings, but also my aunt and all my cousins. So we got a really nice, like honestly luxury condo over the beach. It was seriously right on the water, huge suite. It was incredible, the most beautiful place I've ever stayed as far as like the actual room. It was so beautiful, and then the view was gorgeous. The Gulf of Mexico in front of us. This trip was so incredible. We got to spend so much time with my family, which was the most amazing part. I also got to do something that's been on my bucket list for the longest time. I got to go parasailing, which to some people sounds scary. To others it sounds like, no, that's just something I do on the weekends, but I had never done it before. I had been dreaming of the day I got to go parasailing, and I finally got to do it in Orange Beach. Me, my cousin Mackenzie, and my sister Reese, who seriously was bravest of all of us. She was like, this isn't nothing, like she was ready to go. We went parasailing on some rough waters, I will say. They took the boat out and almost turned us around to go back because the water was so choppy, but they let us get our rides in, and I'm sure glad they did because it was incredible. I just want to parasail all the time now. Like, I thought it was amazing. So overall, this trip was amazing, and I should mention that this was a road trip. So we flew back from Arizona to Ohio, stayed in Ohio for one day, and then we drove like 12 hours to the shoreline to go to Alabama, but it was so worth it, and we had a super fun time. It was also our first time visiting Buc-ee's, so shout out to Buc-ee's. That was also really, really fun. So now we are in the latter half of the year. Like I said, that was February through March, and then we had a bit of a halt on traveling because we bought our house, which is so cool and exciting. I can't believe we did all of this in 1 year, but we bought our house in July, moved in August, so that put a big pause on everything we were doing. All summer we were looking for houses and putting in offers and really putting in that work, so we weren't traveling as much. But then September hit and things changed quick. So in September we got to go to one of my favorite cities in the whole world always, New York City. From September 2nd through 5th, we went to New York City, me, Angelo, and Angelo's dad. It was his dad's first time, which I cannot explain the feeling of taking someone to New York for the first time. I've been, I don't even know, maybe I've been like 6 times or more in my life, and taking someone for the first time is really an incredible feeling, especially when you've been more than a handful of times. You like know where everything is, you know your favorite spots, you know your favorite restaurants, you know your favorite attractions. Oh, I can't even tell you guys. It's my favorite ever. And if you know me in real life, then you just know how much I love New York City. Stayed on Staten Island, which is mine and Angelo's little life hack tradition, even though I know a lot of New Yorkers would not like I'm saying that. So if you're one of my coworkers, we stay on Staten Island. We take the boat into Manhattan every day and had so many adventures. We got to go to the comedy club, Comedy Central, for the first time, which was iconic. We got front row tables. I don't know how it happened, but oh my gosh, it was the most incredible experience. I loved being there. I loved being front row. It was so awesome. Every time we go back to New York City, I can see us going to a comedy show, especially Comedy Cellar. It was like a 10 out of 10 experience. I loved it, and it was just really awesome to show Angelo's dad the city for the first time, to walk around, see the sights, shop, go to Central Park, do all the things, and just remember why I love the city so much, because I really, really do. And then I was home for only a few more weeks until I hit my next trip, which was also in September. On September 28th through the 30th, a quick trip, I went to Kent, Connecticut, which is my first time being in Connecticut, which is really exciting. I got to cross another state off my list, which I should also mention Arizona was one of the states I got to cross off my list because I had never been there either, and now it's my favorite state of all of them. I got to go to Connecticut on a work retreat, which was so freaking incredible. I did not vlog this trip, so you might notice there's not as many clips being played right now as I'm talking, but I'll see if I can put some here. I did some clips on my phone because I made a little TikTok of what it looked like for the whole weekend, but I got to meet my coworkers in person for the first time ever at my new job, which was incredible because they are amazing, amazing, amazing people. I had such a fun time. I got to go ziplining for the first time in my life, which was another bucket list item like parasailing was. And I'm just now like realizing how many things I got to do this year, and it's like hitting me. I'm so happy that I got to do these things. Like, these are dreams of mine, but ziplining was so much fun that I just kept wanting to do it all weekend. And like, even when we weren't doing ziplining as an activity, I was thinking about it and I was just like, I want to zipline all the time. Like, I'm addicted to it. So catch me ziplining a lot more in 2023. But overall, Kent was an amazing trip. Connecticut was so beautiful in the fall. We did so many outdoor activities like ziplining, hiking, we did some archery, all kinds of stuff, which is my favorite kind of stuff to do. I love doing outdoor things. So that trip was so amazing. And that brings me to the last trip of 2022, which was this November, and it was part of Vlogmas. So I did pre-film a little bit of Vlogmas, guys. Sorry, I kind of cheated. However, November 23rd through 27th, we were in Chattanooga, Tennessee for Thanksgiving, and it was a blast. We did the most beautiful hike ever on Thanksgiving morning, and it was in Vlogmas, but I'll also put the clips here in case you didn't watch that day. And if you do want to go watch the 2 vlogs that I did in Tennessee, definitely hit the card at the top of the screen. I'll put it up in the corner so you can go watch those videos. But It was so amazing. We went to visit Angelo's cousins who recently moved to Chattanooga, and this was a big trip because not only was it Angelo's mom and all of his siblings, it was also his aunt and all of her kids and his grandma. So we all spent the whole weekend in Chattanooga. We did some hiking, we watched some Ohio State football, we had Thanksgiving dinner, got some coffees, did the whole thing, but really, oh my gosh, playing football. We played football as a family, and now we're all like, we have to do this every year because it was honestly so freaking fun. But overall, it was really just a time to unplug, and for me, that was everything. It's the exact trip that I needed at the end of the year because I didn't answer emails, I didn't answer texts, I wasn't even posting on Instagram, which is very off for me when traveling, but I really unplugged and it did wonders for my mental health. I stopped clenching my jaw for the first time in like 2 weeks when we left, and it was an amazing, incredible trip. So Natalie, if you're watching this, thank you so much, both of you, Natalie and Kaden, because you all really helped make the trip what it was. So those are all the travels we did in 2022. I can't even believe how long this video is and how long I've been talking, but I just didn't realize how incredible of a year I've had as far as travel and just in general. I've done so many of my favorite things: traveling, drinking coffee, eating good food, and trying new adventures like ziplining and parasailing and all these awesome things I've always wanted to do. So I just can't wait to see what 2023 brings, and I hope y'all enjoyed watching this little recap. I kind of also just made this so that someday I can look back and see all the trips I did in the year, and I think it's a really nice culmination of everything we've done. So I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you all enjoyed watching it, and thank you guys for subscribing, sticking around, watching my Vlogmas, watching my videos, and being my friends. So I really appreciate you, but I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!